Hey folks, welcome to the Rod Rack. And this is a little review and breakdown of what has fast become one of our favorite rods at the shop, and I would say a favorite rod of our customers and our clients. This is the Hardy Ultralite X. It's been out for a few years now. Prior to us carrying Hardy, which we brought in Hardy about a year ago, really didn't know a lot about this rod. This was the first rod that we added to our shop fleet. As you can see, this cork is dirty. I can tell you I've caught hundreds of fish on this rod. I've lined it up with a bunch of different things, and in the realm of fast action fly rods, I don't think I've ever used one that's so darn easy to cast for me or for novice anglers and novice and intermediate casters. Almost everyone we've put into a rod fitting with this caliber of fly rod, 8 out of 10 of them have gone with this. It's available in 9-foot lengths from 5 to 8 weight, a 9.5-foot 7 weight, which is the wading angler's dream, and a 10-foot 7 and 8 weight for ultimate distance abilities. As the name suggests, it is ultra light. It is so easy and effortless to fish, which is rare for really fast tapers. Even a rod that's physically light but is super fast can take a lot of effort to load. That's not the case with this rod. Hardy has brought to the table technology is not available in other rods for maybe a decade now, and I first fished some of those early Centrexes and was just blown away years ago, but never really fished them a lot. This ultralight has a really clean reel seat, carbon fiber inlay, line size notated right below the handle, double up locking reel seat, a really rad carbon fiber inlay where the size and line weight is notated. It's got classic spigot ferrules, which is uncommon these days, and I absolutely love them. I've fished this rod so much, it's hard to believe it's still in 4 pieces, and I've never had a section fall off. For streamer anglers, tell me the last time you said that about your favorite rod. It has 2 Cerakoil stripping guides, basically top of the line components, and single foot recoil guides all the way up. It is very light. It's very fast. The recovery time is really quick, but it's really easy to load. And it loads all the way down into the butt, making it a rod that's super easy to cast. I've tried it with a bunch of different fly lines. Our favorite line at the shop is a perfect match, the Rio Elite Predator taper, whether you go the warm water or the temperate climate version. This has 280 grains in the first 30 feet, so it's 2 line weights heavy. It's a rear balance taper, so it doesn't overload the rod right away. You could put a Grand Slam taper on here from Scientific Anglers and be a pretty happy camper and have a little more stability at long range, even though the head isn't as heavy. But all I can say is, wow! I started using this rod with absolutely no reference, just straight up. When we checked out Hardy, I put a bunch of rods together, felt them, and thought, you know what, an 8 weight, that's really easy to throw on paper. Let's add this one to the fleet. I've fallen in love with it. I use it all the time. And I throw a lot of big flies, our 2-aught articulated bass flies, and we'll even stretch the realm of stuff that I probably shouldn't throw with an 8 weight. I've taken it on 2 tours to Mexico, and in a place like that where we're fishing 10 or 12 hours a day, 2 sessions, throwing all day, this is a really good rod for bass anglers and trout streamer anglers because it loads up really easily. It has a ton of power, and it's very, very light. This is the Hardy Fortuna Regent 6000, kind of a 6'7" reel, which is what I like to put on my bass 8 weights anyway. I've also used a couple other reels on it. For bass fishing, I wouldn't go huge, and then I can't wait to take this to the Bahamas for bonefish because this is exactly what I look for in a bonefish rod. Something that loads up really easily but has stability at long range. The Rio Flats Pro has the same grain weight in the first 30 feet as this line does with a slightly different taper, maybe a little more delicate. So I'll probably put that on for the Bahamas so I have more stability. It's got a 50-foot head. Predator has a 34-foot head. And this is not a rod review where the cork is clean. I've used this for over a year. I've put it through the paces, Mexico, Lake Fork, bunch of other fisheries, and if you're thinking about a new 8 weight for 2025 and you want something that's responsive, really easy to throw, and can throw long range and short range, with an emphasis on quick loading and easy to cast, I'd be hard pressed to tell you you'd find a better rod than the Ultralite X from Hardy. Um, let's show you a little bit more of the details that Hardy went into with this rod that I haven't really come across anywhere else. You got a powder coated aluminum case, rod tube here, Ultralite X, really clean cap. A lot of detail work here that we just don't see from other rod companies. Little cork padding on the inside of the cap, and some stuff I really like as somebody who travels and puts their rods through a lot. They did some really nice things on the detail here. Standard sock, double tie downs, and something that's really cool. Got a little fly tying stuff on there that I'm not super familiar with, but comes with on all the high-end Hardys is ferrule plugs. Okay, so these guys stay in the female end of your fly rod during travel, and it protects the ferrules from any damages and keeps them in really good shape. And there's 3 of those with each set, and there's a little pocket in the rod sock that accommodates those during fishing times. Just a really nice touch there. And you never know what can happen to a fly rod. And I think any shop veteran will tell you, any industry vet will tell you that the most common break outside of just a straight up rod tip is going to be related to a ferrule. So I really, really have enjoyed the extra detail there that Hardy has done. And that comes from over 150 years of experience. And then in the last, let's say 15 or 20, doing things that other rod companies just haven't been able to do. The Ultralite X, it says it's designed and developed in Alnwick, England, which I have no doubt that's the case. I know these were also designed and built to fish all over the world. They are built in South Korea in one of the most high-tech and advanced state-of-the-art rod building facilities in the world. It comes in at $950, which is a little higher than pretty much any other imported rod out there. That being said, the tolerances on these are the finest I've ever seen in the fly rod industry. When you break a piece, you get a replacement piece. We've seen a couple other brands follow this suit, and that means no sending your rod back. That means you call me or you call the shop you got it at, and they call Hardy, and we drop ship you a replacement piece. There's no more of the sitting around and waiting. I've sold fly rods for 20 years, a lot of high-end fly rods. I've shipped dozens and dozens of rods back for myself personally and hundreds for customers. I am kind of over it, and I love that more brands are going to this style. We are a shop based on saltwater and bass fishing and streamer fishing, and we break more rods than the average angler by doing that. So I've been really, really pleased. My customers have been pleased on how quickly we're getting rods repaired. And when you're thinking about saltwater and streamer fishing, those rods just take more abuse, especially if you throw them all day. And the tolerances on these are so good. Your sections never come apart. And 2, having ferrule plugs in there during travel helps protect from any like worst case scenario where your rod gets crushed and your ferrules get hurt. It keeps those ferrules really clean and nice and staying on the rod. And that's our breakdown of the Hardy Ultralite X. That was the 9-foot 8-weight. I have used all the rods in this, and I've tested them all as far as like going out and doing a rod fitting for customers. They all check the boxes. The 5 and the 6-weight, I would say, are more specialized because they are kind of a trouty size. The 6-weight is a great lightweight bass rod. The 5-weight is more of a specialty trout rod in demanding conditions, maybe Chernobyl ants, dry dropper kind of game, or just longer range, or somebody who just really likes a faster rod. Just make sure you got to put a line on there that's got some mass to it. I've seen other shops talk about the MPX taper, half weight heavy. Totally, that checks the boxes. For a fast rod, it recovers really quickly and loads deeply, so it's kind of an anomaly in that case. And the longer versions are still super light and have really fast recovery and cast a country mile. The folks who have purchased the 9.5 and 10-foot versions from us have they're casting farther than they ever have, and they're able to reach more stuff. So people who are on foot fishing big water, that's a great choice. I've spent a ton of time with that 9'8". The 9'7" is one of our most popular rods in the shop and checks the boxes just the same, except throwing just a little lighter line. So drop any comments, give the shop a call. We love these rods, kind of out of left field for us, but absolute weapon. If you're thinking about adding a new 8-weight to the quiver or a new just faster action rod and 5 through 8-weight, consider the Ultralite X. Come down to the shop. We can cast them. Go to your local fly shop, cast them. Give us a call. We've paired them with that Predator taper from Rio, the Flats Pro taper. They're just a magical fit. And what a stick. Will make you a better caster. I don't care what your skill level is. You will be pleasantly surprised at how great these fly rods fish and cast. Thanks for tuning in. Holler anytime. Appreciate it.